Good day, here is a bulletin of African news read by Al Jubrom Chedi. The government of Sudan has signed a ceasefire agreement with one of the main rebel factions in Darfur. The deal with the Justice and Equality Movement, JEM, includes a framework for further talks and the cancellation of death sentences for 100 fighters. It is being seen as an important step towards peace, though the other main rebel groups has refused to enter the talks. The 7-year war between forces loyal to the government and rebels in Darfur has lost intensity in recent years, but the United Nations estimates 300,000 died in the worst years of the conflict. Some 2.5 million people are still displaced. The agreement reached in the Chadian capital N'Djamena, according to a JEM spokesman and an aide to Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir, starts with an immediate ceasefire, but it is not a permanent peace accord. It includes a framework for further talks during which issues of power and wealth and the return of the internally displaced people and refugees will be discussed. Possibly this week, according to the information, Mr. Bashir said he will cancel death sentences handed out to JEM prisoners and free 30% of those he had pardoned. Immediately, the International Criminal Court says the killing of opposition supporters in the Republic of Guinea last year was a crime against humanity. The deputy prosecutor of the ICC, Fatou Bensouda, made the statement in Guinea, that's the capital of Guinea-Conakry, after preliminary investigations into the deaths. Ms. Bensouda said atrocious crimes had been committed by men in uniform. Senior members of the ruling military junta have also been implicated in the situation. The military took over the country in December 2008 following the death of the President Lassana Conte. Amaradidas Babe came to power at the time. The deputy ICC prosecutor described as atrocious the crimes at the stadium in Conakry and said that men in uniform attacked civilians. They were wounded. According to the BBC, based on what she discovered in her visit, the ICC could continue with its preliminary investigation. In La Côte d'Ivoire, several persons have been killed during clashes between security forces and demonstrators. Security forces fired live bullets into the crowd of thousands of protesters at a demonstration held in the country. The BBC said the violence in the town of Ganoa is the latest in a series of protests against President Laurent Gbagbo. Last week, Mr. Gbagbo dissolved the government and the Electoral Commission following a row over voter registration presidential elections, which have been delayed every year since 2005. There have been protests in towns across the country, but this is the first time people have been killed. The BBC John James in the commercial capital Abidjan spoke to one of the demonstrators in Ganoa, who said the police had fired into the crowd with real bullets. Other reports said the deaths had come afterwards when police searched for opposition protesters. Speaking to the AFP news agency, hospital staff in the town said 3 bodies had been brought to the hospital and that the victims had gunshot wounds. The Associated Press news agency, quoting the opposition, says 3 persons were killed and more than a dozen injured after police opened fire on the demonstrators. A police source confirmed to the AFP that there were some dead, but he could not say how many persons have been killed. There are reports of demonstrations during the day in several other towns in La Côte d'Ivoire. Correspondents say Ivory Coast is under increasing international pressure to restart an electoral process that is meant to end a crisis sparked by civil war in 2002 and 2003. A week ago, President Gbagbo announced the Ivory Coast government had been dissolved. Thousands of people took to the streets of Niger in a second day of demonstrations for the support of the military junta that overthrew the government. Opposition politicians and coup leaders addressed a rally celebrating the overthrow of President Mamadou Tanja and the dissolution of his government. Niger has been suspended by the African Union, and the international community has been quick to condemn the coup. UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon condemned it and called for calm. The new ruling military council, the Supreme Council for the Restoration of Democracy, has announced the lifting of a curfew declared hours after the coup and the reopening of the borders. 10 persons are said to have died when the junta seized power. An opposition spokesman, Bazoum Mohammed, thanked the junta for the overthrow during the rally. "We are for the restoration of democracy, and we are committed to the army joining the mission." A military leader, Harunda Jibrila Adamu, told the crowd he thanked them for the overwhelming support. The coup is still gaining ground, and thousands of people both support, some do not. But that will do it for news. We hope peace and calm returns to Niger. My name is Al Jerome Chedi from the English desk of Africa Rendezvous.mp4 TV show. Serge Jean is my colleague. He's in the French department for the French version of this newscast. Serge.
Salut à tous, mesdames et messieurs, bonjour et bienvenue à l'édition spéciale sur l'actualité panafricaine. Coup d'État au Niger, la junte militaire qui a déposé le président Mamadou Tanja s'installe progressivement. Le CSRD, le Conseil suprême pour la restauration de la démocratie, a annoncé la levée du couvre-feu et la réouverture des frontières terrestres et aériennes. Dans une déclaration rendue publique récemment, l'ex-parti au pouvoir, le MNSD, affirme qu'il exige la libération immédiate et sans condition du président Mamadou Tanja et des membres du gouvernement arbitrairement détenus par la junte. L'un des responsables de la junte avait annoncé que les membres du gouvernement arrêtés lors du coup d'État du jeudi dernier étaient désormais libres. Pendant ce temps, le balai diplomatique se poursuit à Niamey. Une mission internationale conjointe ONU-Union africaine, CEDEAO, est arrivée dimanche dernier à Niamey pour s'enquérir de la situation. En Guinée, le procureur adjoint de la Cour pénale internationale, Fatou Bensouda, est arrivé en Guinée-Conakry dans une mission pour décider si le massacre survenu au stade du 28 septembre dernier constitue un crime contre l'humanité. La mission de la procureure adjointe de la Cour pénale internationale durera 3 jours. Son but, déterminer si les crimes commis le 28 septembre dernier à Conakry relèvent de la compétence de la Cour. Cette mission doit donc établir si la Cour pénale internationale poursuit les responsables du massacre de plus de 150 opposants tués par les forces de l'ordre en Côte d'Ivoire. Le nouveau gouvernement qui a été annoncé mardi dernier comme prévu, mais le Premier ministre Soro Guillaume a affirmé qu'il serait connu d'ici lundi prochain. Le ministre Soro Guillaume a annoncé très rapidement la composition de ce gouvernement après la dissolution du cabinet et de la commission électorale. Monsieur le ministre Soro Guillaume poursuit pour l'instant des consultations. Il a par ailleurs reçu mardi dernier le soutien de l'ex-rébellion dont il est le chef pour former un nouveau gouvernement. Après avoir commencé ces consultations avec les partis politiques, M. Soro Guillaume a rencontré la direction de l'ex-rébellion des forces nouvelles dans leur fief de Bouaké. Les forces nouvelles ont donc apporté leur soutien 4 jours après la reconduction au poste du Premier ministre qu'il occupe à la suite de l'accord de paix signé en 2007 à Ouagadougou. Le président Laurent Gbagbo a donc créé un comité ad hoc en annonçant la dissolution du gouvernement et de la commission électorale indépendante CEI. Après plus d'un mois de la crise à la CEI, chargée d'organiser le scrutin présidentiel reporté depuis 2005. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est la fin de notre journal. Merci de votre fidélité. Excellente soirée à tous. Mais restez avec nous pour la suite de ce programme.